People who are 40 plus and happy with their life. What is your advice to people in their 20s? Fail to plan? Plan to fail. 1. Identify your goals and values. Don't confuse a step towards your goal, job, for the goal, peace of mind, happiness. 2. Don't fight reality. Reality is all there is. Don't waste time wishing it was different. Don't invent things that are not true. Reality is enough just as it is. 3. Make choices based on your new framework, goals and reality. Small daily choices are super important. Calm the fuck down. Seriously. I panicked my way through my 20s. When shit goes wrong, stay calm and think logically. Act like the person you want to be. When I was in college, I had the chance to go to Europe, but I passed because I had to work at a warehouse. I picked staying at a part-time warehouse job overseeing the world. When I finally went abroad in my 30s, it changed my perspective about everything and everyone. Go to another country that is far away and different than your own. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Run accordingly. Know your worth and your potential. Save. 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 Don't put up with abusive, toxic people. Don't fall victim to peer pressure and settle for a mate that isn't right for you. Didn't find my wife until I was almost 30. And it was totally worth waiting for the right one to come along. You don't have to have kids and buy a minivan and live that life. It's totally fine if you don't. You might even be happier and a lot wealthier in the end. You're not weird or broken because you want to live a less normal life. A lot of us do it, you just don't see us marketed to on TV. Make decisions for yourself. Don't ignore the long-term ambitions for short-term fun. But definitely don't live the life that someone else wants you to live. Every dollar you save and invest in your 20s is worth a hell of a lot more than the ones in your 30s, 40s and so on. If you are going to spend money, spend it creating experiences with yourself and other people. It's almost been kind of a cliche thing for the latest generation that you should only spend on experiences. But I don't give a fuck about the sound system or computer I had 15 years ago. I do care about the friends that were made. Strive for a small and simple life. The larger and more complicated you allow it to become, the harder it is to reach contentment. Contentment is the goal, not happiness. Don't fall for the trap that your life needs to be one long narrative that you should be building. Life is best when it's a bunch of happy moments that just happen to be connected. Don't try to make your life into a novel. Make it a book of poems. Move out of your parents' home so they can also be 40 plus and happy with their lives. People who are 60 plus and happy with their life. What is your advice to people in their 40s? The biggest regret my dad has was not starting some sort of savings for retirement when he was in his 20s. He didn't start putting money into his 401k until he was 30 or so. If you don't have access to a 401k, look into getting an IRA or something you can just chip something into every week or month. It's not a race. Stop comparing yourself to others. Just because they did things sooner than you doesn't mean they're happier or better. Try to start good habits. It is a little rough at first, but in a few years it will be second nature. Do this with things like cooking, cleaning, saving money and self-care. It is okay to not like someone. It is also okay to have someone not like you. People are going to not like you for no reason. That is okay. It's a them issue and not a you issue. Don't be an ass to everyone and give them reason to dislike you. But also know that you are under no obligation to put up with someone else's bad friendship. There is no shame in seeing a mental health professional. I'll give a bit of relationship advice. I had the most success with dating when I didn't force it. I was in a good place in my life and went on dates and met people because it was fun. Not because I was looking for a relationship. The times I felt lonely and intentionally seeking a relationship were the least successful times. I'm sure I came across as lonely and needy, which isn't a good combination. Be yourself. Make peace with who you are. And focus on being your best self. You'll have much more luck finding someone who wants you to be that best self. Oh. And avoid narcissists. Controlling personalities. Set boundaries for yourself, your mental health is worth it. Trust me. Go have an adventure of a lifetime. Don't put it off. Make plans for your money. Stay out of debt. You don't need that new car, watch, handbag, etc. Material items are not worth your sanity. Have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Don't waste time on anyone who disrespects you. Have a backbone but don't be rude. Not everything needs your reaction. Find someone who you can spend endless time with. Talk about ideas, not people. Above all, *k what anyone thinks. I'll be 41 this year. 1. Make more than enough to pay your bills and live how you want to. Fuck that, just follow your bliss crap. I know too many actors and artists who are miserable and overstressed because they are broke. Instead, go into a field that pays better and have hobbies that are blissful. 2. See the world and meet people from all over. Don't wait. You don't know what will happen to the place or yourself. Meeting people from elsewhere teaches that there really are many ways to skin a cat and differences are fun. 3. Have friends and acquaintances of different ages. There is wisdom on both sides. Besides, at 54, you might enjoy babysitting your neighbor's kids. 4. And I didn't do this one. Don't get fat. It is very hard to lose it. Keep healthy. Study/work hard. Don't buy new cars. Don't buy that house with an extra room. Don't buy anything until you have an emergency fund saved up. None of those things feel as good as not worrying about money feels. And #X200B. 3-bedroom house isn't necessary. An emergency fund is necessary. And #X200B. If you can't afford the house and the emergency fund, that doesn't mean you can't afford the emergency fund. It means you can't afford the house. Emergency fund is non-negotiable. Don't marry someone because you think it's something you have to do. The same goes with having children. I've done neither, even though my family has always hounded me to, and am incredibly happy with where I'm at. I can't think of how miserable I'd be making commitments like those just to make others happy. Put yourself first, people. Work on building skills. Doesn't have to be a degree. Just something that you know you can use that others will want. It will give you a means to support yourself and get back in your feet even if you lose everything. Build assets. Avoid liabilities. Don't stay in mediocre relationships, romantic or otherwise. Travel and see the world. Especially to places quite different to your own. Travel really helped me get a new perspective on how I saw the world and made me re-evaluate what my culture had taught me. I realized much of what I assume is normal and typical is simply cultural and arbitrary, and I can choose to change it. 3 hobbies. 1 to keep you in shape. 1 to keep you creative. 1 to make you money. Everything you get becomes something you have. Learn how to be happy having things instead of getting them. Edit. Kinda took off. Thanks for all the awards. I appreciate having them, smiley face. Figure out what is important to you in life. A shocking amount of people never do this. The sooner you do, the better off you will be. It is important to me to be able to take care of myself and have enough left over to support those I love. If I'm doing that, it is hard to get down, or be worried, or care what other people think of me, etc. I'm still going to pursue my career and other interests. I just don't have anything emotionally riding on their successes. At least not in relation to my own sense of self-worth. I'm not doing a fun job, or an inspiring job. I'm doing on that pays the most for the least work. For me, that's okay. Because with the excess time, I can spend it with people I love. With the excess money I can help pay for my friends who didn't get to go to college to do it now. I can take time off at a drop of a hat to fly across country and help in a family emergency, etc. There is the phrase "live so God can use you." I'm not religious, but I do value the idea of setting your life up so when an opportunity to do something that you care about, that matters, arises, you're in a position to do it. Figure out what you want for yourself, and what you want for others. It will make planning and achieving it easier. Edit. as a lot of people are asking me what I do. I work in tech, probably unsurprisingly. I basically decided to get a degree in math instead of English because one had much better job prospects. Though I do like analytics and solution architecture and all that jazz. I'd definitely use that time to read the Iliad for the fourth time if it paid the same. Also, to be clear, I am not advocating for this path. Just that it is important to understand the path you want and make sure you're on it. It is just as important to not work a job you hate, to make time for your passions, etc. I've worked nearly 30 jobs in my life. With kids, construction, lumber yards, tour guide, nursing homes. You name it. I'm good at compartmentalizing. And just really don't mind what I work on. So getting the most return on my work is a clear metric to focus on. If I got a lot of my sanity and sense of satisfaction from my job, I'd 100% work with kids or in education. Instead, I didn't have kids. Long story short, we get to sleep in whenever, have more savings than average, a lot of time to dedicate to our two fur babies. Travel early. Before starting a family. Diverse experiences allow you to broaden your worldview and adds ton of perspective. Work hard. No matter the job. Do it to the best of your ability. It pays off. Don't keep up with the Joneses. Live within your means. And when possible, saving for the rainy day. Except that it doesn't always work out in the end. There is no magic balance that says if something awful happens, something good must happen later. Not always winning or being happy is part of life. The sooner you find the tools to accept that, the sooner you can achieve your goals. All of the tangible actions mentioned here are reflections of understanding your values. Figuring out what your values are hasten the maturation process. The reason people say go on adventures is because it forces you to understand yourself. And honestly, get off Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching.